Welcome to a Dynasty Startup Mock Draft using the Draft Wizard tool on Fantasy Pros. And it's going to be a little bit different today. We're going to explore strategies, Dynasty Startup strategies. I don't know exactly which one I'm going to use. Maybe the title will give you a hint. But we're just going to do a Startup Mock Draft using the Draft Wizard. We're going to be doing Dynasty All Players Snake. We're going to be drafting first. So the idea is for us to do one of these every week. Probably going to publish this on a Saturday because startup Saturdays, I don't know. That just the alliteration makes me happy. So 2 quarterbacks. So we're going to do super flex, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and 2 flex. So that would be 10, start 10, drafting 20 total spots against all the experts. So away we go. And if there's something not quite right, the Draft Wizard tool makes it very easy for us to make changes. And let's see how this is showing up. This looks perfect, aside from the fact that we need to center this a little bit, or I need to zoom out just a touch. So yeah, that's better. So we have the 101. We were blessed by the gods, and I still do believe in a 2 quarterback or a super flex. The 101, it's got to be Josh Allen. I know Drake May's had a good season, but to me, it's still going to be Josh Allen. He is an elite quarterback that's basically proved it multiple years. And so we'll see how this goes. And it looks like there isn't really anything too egregious, at least to me. I mean, Justin Herbert at the 109 feels a little bit rich. Caleb Williams also going in the first round. JSN sliding down. A lot of these wide receivers sliding down. Malik Neighbors, Puka Nacua, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra going a little bit late. Having maybe one of those mid-first round picks would have been ideal. But now here we are, we're at the 212, and I think that there's definitely a player on the board that I'm interested in. I think, actually there's a couple players that I wouldn't mind having. I mean, we could get our second quarterback. We could just say, hey, F it and get Bo Nix, who I think has a lot of upside. But honestly, there are 2 players on the board right now that I believe are elite, and I mean they're elite at their respective positions. One of those is Achane. So I think Achane's going to be one of our picks. And just before I do that, I'm just going to double check this to make sure, because we can easily make changes. I mean, Jackson Dart at the 206. I honestly don't think that's that crazy. I mean, you can let me know in the comments. Jordan Love at the 204 is a little bit nuts to me. I don't know if I would make that decision, but honestly, there's nothing really that, I mean, Genty over Achane, and I don't know. I mean, I suppose, but we'll just leave it as is. Maybe we'll make a change if we have to in the next round, but I'm going to go with Achane at the 212. And I'm also, I mean, Nico would be a nice pick. But, I mean, Trey McBride, I'm just going to pick the first tight end here. That is a set it and forget it tight end. And, I know they're going to have a new offensive coordinator, new coaching staff. But Trey McBride is that dude. So I'm going to take Trey McBride and just have an awesome quarterback and an awesome tight end. We get QB1 and tight end 1 on this roster. So right after that, we got Nico Collins, and then a bunch more quarterbacks go off the board. Brock Purdy, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud. It seems a bit high for CJ Stroud and for Kyler Murray. We might have to make a change there, but we'll see. Brock Bowers, Baker Mayfield, Amarian Hampton, Jonathan Taylor, Garrett Wilson, Tedero McMillan, Trevor Lawrence, Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, James Cook, Christian McCaffrey, Trevion Henderson, Brian Thomas. I don't think Brian Thomas is going to go that high. Actually, that is a change that we're going to make, and we're going to swap out Kyler Murray with let's just do Jared Goff. So Jared Goff. Okay, yeah, we can just fill that right in. So Jared Goff is going to be the 306. And then Brian Thomas isn't as horrible. I mean, but I'm just gonna swap in Lad McConkey or possibly Emeka Egbuka. Rashi Rice is weird because of his whole legal situation, so I'm just gonna throw in Lad McConkey here. I could be off on this evaluation. I just don't think people are going to be as high on Brian Thomas Jr. entering into this offseason. And I think that's it. That's the only adjustments I need to make here. Again, let me know how you feel in the comments. So here at the 412, I mean, obviously Rashi Rice is at the top. I was the biggest proponent of Rashi Rice entering this season, even with the suspension. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm scared as hell about Rashi Rice going forward. I want nothing to do with Rashi Rice. I've completely flipped on Rashi Rice. There's no way that I'm investing even the 412 or the 501 in Rashi Rice. I'm going to let somebody else take that chance. I'm not doing it in Dynasty. I'm going to invest in players that I believe have more upside than that. And honestly, I'm kind of regretting investing highly in the tight end position because there's a lot of tight ends that I thought might not be around, like Colston Loveland. Maybe we can say, oh man, his value's a bit high right now because of the playoffs. But I don't know. I mean, I think Colston Loveland is an elite talent, and he hasn't proven it yet in the regular season that he can do that for an entire season. So I don't know if people are going to be as high on him as even this. So I don't know. But Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, definitely exciting players. They're not going to be on our radar. I think Bucky Irving is for sure going to be one of our picks here. And then it comes down to which receiver. I mean, do we think Emeka Egbuka can bounce back? I think so. I think he's a much better pick than, say, a Rashi Rice at this point. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's crazy. But Mike Evans is a free agent, and I think Baker Mayfield trusts him, and I think injuries played a role in ultimately what I believe was his inconsistent season. So I'm gonna just go full Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're gonna go Bucky. We're gonna go Emeka Egbuka, and then we're gonna see what happens after that. So after we took Egbuka, Chase Brown, T. Higgins, RJ Harvey. Gosh, maybe we should have scrolled down a little bit. RJ Harvey would have been a nice pick. Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, Rashi Rice, Roma Dunze, Zay Flowers, Sam Darnold, Cam Ward, Travis Etienne, Jameson Williams, AJ Brown, Marvin Harrison, Devonta Smith, DK Metcalf, Travis Hunter, Terry McLaurin, Jordan Addison, Kenneth Walker, Tyler Warren, and Tucker Kraft. So we do still have Colston Loveland on the board, but we already did take a tight end. And I honestly don't think that there's any changes that we have to make. Let's look at quarterback. I mean, we still have some options here. I mean, it probably would be wise. I mean, it's really drying up here at quarterback. Man, I don't know. We honestly might have jumped the shark or missed the shark or whatever the expression is on quarterback. So we might just wait for our quarterback too. We'll see. I would feel very nervous about drafting JJ McCarthy at this point. Bryce Young, we know, is going to be a starter. I think he played well enough to be a quarterback too. So, but I do think that there are some better options here on the board for us. And one of those options that I'm seeing that I'm going to be very, very high on entering next year is Cam Skattebo and also Luther Burden at the top here. I think that those are two guys that are going to ascend in year two. Now, we could play it safe and just get our quarterback 2 and quarterback 3. I wouldn't necessarily hate that. You know, getting maybe a Bryce Young and a Michael Penix. I do think Michael Penix, with the addition of Kevin Stefanski, that helps him a lot. And also Tyler Shough is an option. But honestly, I think some of those options are going to fall to us a little bit later. So our best case scenario, I think, is to, take a Cam Skattebo, potentially a Quinshon. We're going to be very loaded at running back. Quinshon, I'm a little bit more nervous about given his situation than I am Cam Skattebo, to be honest with you. So looking at wide receiver, man, it dried up very quickly at wide receiver. So, I mean, we have Egbuka. This team is going to need wide receivers. I think, if we're going to pass on, I mean, we could go. I think I just kind of want to go with the youth movement and go with Cam Skattebo and Luther Burden. You let me know if that was the right move in the comments. So after we took Luther Burden, JJ McCarthy does come off the board. Sam Laporta, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore, George Kittle, Xavier Worthy, Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams, Michael Pittman, Jake Ferguson, Ricky Pearsall, Zach Charbonnet, Chuba Hubbard, Colston Loveland. What a steal in the 8th round. Seriously, great value there. Devontae Adams, Cortland Sutton, TJ Hawkinson, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Jalen Warren, and Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Now, at this point, I'll be more than willing to take a chance on a Quinshon Judkins recovering from his injury. I think the value is just too good. I think that has to be one of the picks. And honestly, the upside pick with Michael Penix being our quarterback too, I don't necessarily love a lot of these wide receivers, although Jaden Higgins did have a really good playoff game. Might not have shown up entirely on the stat sheet, but Jaden Higgins, I think, also has a ton of upside. So we have a couple picks here. I think one of them has to be Quinshon. So we're going to take Quinshon Judkins. And the other is going to be Michael Penix because we need to nail down a quarterback. So Michael Penix is going to be our quarterback too. We're going to miss out on Jaden Higgins, and we need to get busy at wide receiver, if I'm being honest, because I am not necessarily loving the state of our wide receivers. Emeka Egbuka, Luther Burden being our only two. So after we take Michael Penix, Dallas Goedert, Trey Benson, Khalil Shakir, David Njoku, Tyreek Hill, Kyle Pitts, Bashul Tootin, Brandon Ayuk, Bryce Young, Kyler Murray, Jaden Higgins, Tyler Algier, Matthew Golden, Mike Evans, Caleb Johnson, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Joe Mixon, David Montgomery, Rico Dowdle, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Stephon Diggs all come off the board. And there is a wide receiver that sticks out to me like just crazy, and that would be Michael Wilson. But I wonder how much of his success is replicable next year. I don't know. I think it would be worth taking a risk on him right now. I mean, if we just click on Michael Wilson, or can we click on him? I mean, he's only 25 years old, and I do think that he's quite the value here in the late 10th round. If we look at wide receiver, because this is the direction we're going to go, we could also just nail down our third quarterback as well in a 2 quarterback, because we're going to need 3. I mean, Quentin Johnston, I don't necessarily believe in. Chris Godwin, kind of same story. I know he just signed a contract with Tampa Bay, but Jaden Reed is on the field about 50% of the time. So out of all these wide receivers, I'm honestly I have the most confidence in taking Michael Wilson. Now at quarterback, man, it really looks like Tyler Shough is the answer there in New Orleans. I am willing to take a chance on him at this stage, being our quarterback number 3. I don't think that that's horrible. So I think that those are going to be the picks. I think it's going to be Michael Wilson, and it's going to be Tyler Shough for us, shoring up wide receiver and nailing down our quarterback 3. So we're good at quarterback if we want to be. And of course, I mean, this is pretty good for us. A bunch of running backs come off the board. Tank Bigsby, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Reed, Alvin Kamara, Brian Robinson, Tajay Spears, Jordan Mason, Tyrone Tracy, Daniel Jones, J.K. Dobbins, Dylan Sampson, Woody Marks, Rashad White, Ollie Gordon, Aaron Jones, Blake Corum, Jaden Blue, Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Pacheco, Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, and James Conner all come off the board. And man, There's a tight end that I honestly can't believe is still here and available because I believe David Njoku. Just let me look this up real quick. David Njoku, I think, is a free agent. And I know Kevin Stefanski's not there anymore. And you're going to have a new regime. Yeah, 2026 is a void year / unrestricted free agent year for David Njoku. So to me, that Harold Fanin Jr. would be a hell of a pick here. Also, I mean, the wide receiver, I'm still not loving these wide receivers. I mean, this could be a team, you know, it looks to me more like a rebuild. I mean, we do have Josh Allen, Devon Achane, Trey McBride, Bucky Irving, Emeka Egbuka, Cam Skattebo. I mean, we're really young. Even with our quarterbacks, we're young. I mean, not that that really matters, but man, Fanin would just add to that group. So having a second tight end, I do think that Fanin is one of the picks. And honestly, out of all these options, I mean, we could go the Christian Watson route. We could go with Godwin. Doesn't really fit the build much at all. I mean, the Green Bay wide receivers, in best ball, those Green Bay wide receivers I think are fine, but if you are trying to set a lineup on a week in and week out basis, good luck trying to pick the right Green Bay wide receiver. I mean, Parker Washington might not be that bad of a pick at this stage, to be honest with you. I think Jacoby Myers is already off the board. I think we mentioned him a lot earlier. That would have been a really nice pick as well. Jacoby Myers. Well, I'm looking. Yeah, he's got to be gone. All right. I think I've made up my mind. I think one of these picks is going to be Harold Fanin Jr. Nailing down our second tight end. And then, I mean, Kyle Monangai would be a nice pick here. I do think that there is a chance that DeAndre Swift's a cap casualty. So I'm just gonna go Kyle Monangai and solidify our. I mean, those are two good picks for the build and two good picks. You know, solidifying our tight end and running back spots. I think we're very solid at running back and tight end right now, and quarterback is good. I mean, really the one weakness on this team is wide receiver and wide receiver depth. So we're gonna have to get busy here. So Quinton Johnston, Chris Godwin, Josh Downs, Najee Harris, Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb, Deebo Samuel, Austin Eckler, Trey Harris, Matthew Stafford, Will Shipley, Alec Ayumanner, Roshan Johnson, Mason Taylor, Justice Hill, Alec Pierce, Calvin Ridley, Tua Tagovailoa, Keon Coleman, Brenton Strange, Jalen Coker, Malik Willis. Oh, we forgot about Malik Willis. Shame. He could be a starter. So, I mean, I don't know if the system is going to pick up on this, but you know, like players like Mac Jones. I mean, I guess they already did with the Malik Willis pick. You know, Mac Jones, Kirk Cousins. I mean, both of those guys could be starters next year somewhere, which at this point in the draft in the 14th round, we need wide receiver. And it's kind of hard for me to believe that Christian Watson is still here. So he's probably going to be one of the picks, even though I don't necessarily like the Green Bay Packers situation. Parker Washington would also be a really good pick, I think. But just going off of we're probably going to double tap wide receiver here and go Christian Watson and Jaylin Noel because, you know, Christian Kirk's probably going to be gone next year. So after we take Jaylin Noel, Romeo Doubs, Kareem Hunt, Shedeur Sanders, Isaac Guerrero, Kendre Miller, Darnell Mooney, Chris Rodriguez, DJ Giddens, Cedric Tillman, Isaiah Likely, Jalen Wright, Adonai Mitchell, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields, Rashid Shaheed, Quinn Ewers. Why? Because he's the starter in Miami right now? That is incredible. I'm just going to leave it. I mean, we could just replace that with Mac Jones. In fact, I will do that, actually. That doesn't make a lick of sense to me. Mac Jones is going into the 16th round. Jack Best, Geno Smith, Damian Pierce, Keaton Mitchell, Isaac Tesla. That would have been a nice pick for us at wide receiver. So I've been saying Parker Washington's name for the last probably 3 or 4 rounds. So I think he's definitely in contention for one of these picks. And then really once you get outside of him, I mean, Kayshon Boutte made a heck of a catch in that playoff game. I don't know how consistent he's going to be going forward. Terrence Ferguson could, I mean, but we're in a format, just start one tight end. So we have a couple tight ends already. I mean, Terrence Ferguson he could be the Rams starting tight end next year, just given the contract situation of, Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson. They could get out of that Colby Parkinson contract next year if they wanted to. So I think one of the picks is going to be Parker Washington, just trying to hit on wide receivers late here. And then I do think, man, just kind of looking at these options, Kayshon Boutte would be a decent option here. And, probably a better and best ball type of player. Maybe Kyle Williams has more upside for the future, but you just don't know. I like Kyle Williams, but I've seen Kayshon Boutte make plays. So I am going to take Kayshon Boutte in the 17th round. So after we take Kayshon Boutte, Jonathan Brooks, Troy Franklin, Jalen McMillan, Cooper Kupp, Marshawn Lloyd, Kenneth Gainwell, Hunter Henry, Juwan Johnson, Devin Neal, Brashard Smith, Elijah Arroyo, Rondé Gaston, Sean Tucker, Torrey Horton, Terrence Ferguson, Dalton Schultz, Kyle Williams, Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, Kamani Vidal, Emmanuel Wilson, and Isaiah Davis. Isaiah Davis, great pick, especially considering Breece Hall is a free agent. So we are left with some options. So looking at the roster, we have 3 quarterbacks. We're happy about that. One of them being Josh Allen, then Michael Penix, and Tyler Shough. Running backs are solid. Running backs are very solid with Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, Cam Skattebo, Quinshon Judkins, and Kyle Monangai. We feel really good about that. Feel great about our starting tight end and Trey McBride. Don't feel great about our wide receivers, although Emeka Egbuka and Luther Burden could take year 2 jumps. Michael Wilson, kind of a weak wide receiver 3. And then we have Christian Watson, Jaylin, Noel, Parker Washington, Kayshon Boutte. Not my strongest draft. It's going to be interesting to see what the simulator says at the end of the draft. There's not a ton of good options here at wide receiver either. What do we got at quarterback? Kirk Cousins could be playing somewhere next year. Jacoby Brissett could be the starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals next year. I think, given what's on the board right now, in the 18th round, if you can find a way to get a starting quarterback in a 2-quarterback league, I think that's the direction that you go. And since Jacoby Brissett is here, now we have 2 picks. We could just go Jacoby Brissett and then Kirk Cousins. But that is not something I want to do. I want to take a wide receiver with some upside, and that's going to be probably Pat Bryant at this point over somebody like Marvin Mims. But let me just double check to see that I'm not missing anything. So running back is basically dried up. I'm not really interested in any of these guys. Wide receiver, we have some interesting options, but nobody that really jumps off the page to me. So, and tight end, I think we're good at tight end. I mean, Theo Johnson could be a nice player as a tight end 3, but honestly, I feel good with our 2 guys. So let's go ahead and get Pat Bryant on this roster, and then that's going to take us all the way. Let's see if I can get rid of this. Okay. So there we go. So Pat Bryant is the pick. Aaron Rodgers, Chimere Dike, Rashad Bateman, Christian Kirk, Marvin Mims, Jarquez Hunter, Tyrod Taylor, Malik Washington, Keandre Lambert Smith, Tank Dell, Jalen Milroe, LaQuint Allen, Devin Singletary, Jalen Tolbert, Kirk Cousins, Isaiah Bond, Xavier Legette, Antonio Gibson, Damian Martinez, Quinn Ewers, 20th round. Jahar Johnson, Devon Vele, all come off the board. And at this stage, I think getting a third tight end makes sense. And Theo Johnson's at the top of the board. I think that offense could be really good. So let's just go ahead and do that and see what kind of grade we get. So, oh my goodness gracious, it gave us an A+. A+ grade. So we'll view the full analysis, recap this team, and then we will get out of here. So, man, it loved this team. I mean, I don't know if I deserve that kind of a grade, but man, it really loved the grade. Pat Fitzmaurice, Derek Brown, Kyle Yates all love the team. Joe Pisapia hates it. Of course he does. So we ended up getting a lot of steals. I think that contributed to our high grade. So the steals were Quinshon, Tyler Shough, Harold Fanin, Kyle Monangai, Christian Watson, Jaylin, Noel, Pat Bryant, and Theo Johnson. Looking at the draft board here, or pick analysis rather. So it wants me to take Nico Collins over Trey McBride, I think, but I don't know. I like taking the elite tight end there. I think that was a fine pick to make. So yeah, it really, I crushed this draft apparently. Just completely destroyed everybody. First overall, first with my starters, first with my bench, for the quarterback, for the running back. Wide receiver, we knew we were going to take a hit there, but second at tight end and first with our flex. And so let's just recap this team real quick. You know, Josh Allen, Devon Achane, Trey McBride, Bucky Irving, Emeka Egbuka, Cam Skattebo, Luther Burden, Quinshon Judkins, Michael Penix, Michael Wilson, Tyler Shough, Harold Fanin Jr., Kyle Monangai, Christian Watson, Jaylin, Noel, Parker Washington, Kayshon, Boutte, Jacoby, Brissett, Pat Bryant, and Theo Johnson. Let me know what you think of the draft. Apparently, I crushed it out of the park, according to the simulator. And until next time, be good, everybody, and we will see you later.